Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. This is the brother lawyer from Great Millstone, Miami. And hey, I want to go into this lesson, man. Hey, brothers, we talk about spiritual power. The Lord blessing brothers with supernatural and superhuman strength and abilities, in these latter days, man. And we see, Esau has truly sharpened his sword, okay, to make a sore slaughter. All right. They got tanks, they got airplanes and helicopters and missiles and guns and bullets. All right. They got killer drones and also they have now killer robots. This video is going to be based off of an article I found on, Yahoo Finance, entitled, an article on Yahoo Finance entitled, "It's Time to Talk About Killer Robots," and it was published in November, okay, of this year, okay, all right, and hey, Lord willing, this video is edifying, all right. Now, this is how the article begins off. Okay, it says, looking for a Thanksgiving dinner table conversation that isn't politics or professional sports? Okay, let's talk about killer robots. It's a concept that long ago leapt from the pages of science fiction to reality, depending on how loose a definition you use for a robot. Military drones abandon Asimov's first law of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm decades ago. Okay. All right. So, drones are robots, and, I guess it's an individual who, called himself a lawmaker for how robots should be used. All right. He decreed that robots should not be used to purposely injure or through inaction harm another harm a human being. Okay. But, with the advent of these military drones, which are robots, okay, all right, that are used in combat scenarios to, to target, enemies, different enemies and different targets that the military deems a threat. All right, that law has been abandoned. Okay. All right, and you can best believe, man, Esau is going to turn this types of technology against the civilians of Babylon the Great. Especially those of us who believe in Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Okay. All right, it says the topic has been simmering again of late due to the increasing prospect of killer robots in domestic law enforcement. So, in domestic law enforcement, all right, I'm talking about your local police department, so on and so forth. All right, they're messing around with the idea of using robots to help enforce the law. Okay. One of the era's best-known robot makers, Boston Dynamics, raised some public policy red flags when it showcased footage of its Spot robot being deployed as part of a Massachusetts State Police training exercises on our stage back in 2019. Okay, so they've been doing this, man. All right. It says the robots were not armed and instead were part of an exercise designed to determine how they might help keep officers out of harm's way during a hostage or terrorist situation. But the prospect of deploying robots in scenarios where people's lives are at immediate risk was enough to prompt an inquiry from the ACLU, which told TechCrunch, we urgently need more transparency from government agencies who should be upfront with the public about their plans to test and deploy new technologies. We also need statewide regulations to protect civil liberties, civil rights, and racial justice in the age of artificial intelligence, man. So, the messing around and, experimenting with this type of technology and killer robots has definitely raised, eyebrows, okay, amongst the public and, different critics, okay. It says last year, meanwhile, the NYPD cut short a deal with Boston Dynamics following a strong public backlash after images surfaced of Spot being deployed in response to a home invasion in the Bronx. So you can guarantee, look, all right, hey, we already know how Esau gets down. He's messing with this technology right now. Hey, once this shit shut down again, okay, and martial law gets implemented, okay, and the famine of the word persecution, you can guarantee he's going to be programming these robots, okay, to break into people's homes, kick down doors, okay, all right, and target certain individuals. Okay, hey, Esau getting ready to implement this social credit score system and CBDCs and programmable money. All right, he could easily equip these robots or program them with the information and the software to target certain individuals who are not in line with the policies surrounding um, social credit scores and CBDCs. If you have a low social credit score, hey, target this individual as a threat, man. Okay. All right, he can easily do that, but hey, it's all good. It's all good because this is gonna make for an epic movie, like the X-Men versus the Sentinels. This is great. Okay, all right, this is great, man. And, hey, it's all spiritual. That you watch these movies, man. These types of superhero or anime movies, and you got the heroes with their superpowers or their spiritual powers, and they fight in these different robots and giant drones and androids. That is not by coincidence, man. Okay, we're about to see a very, very epic ending to the age of the Edomites. Okay, all right. So it says, for its part, Boston Dynamics has been very vocal in its opposition to the weaponization of its robots last month. And that doesn't matter because they're gonna do it anyway. Esau's weapon is his blessing is a sword, so he's gonna do this anyway. All right, that's why they're getting rid of the police. Okay, they trying to do away with law enforcement because they about to bring in the robots, man. Okay, they about to bring in these machines to enforce the law. Okay, all right, to help supplement the lack of people who want to join the military or who want to join law enforcement. They gonna bring in the robots, man. Okay, all right. Last month, and it signed an open letter along with other leading firms: Agility, Anybotics. I'm sorry, Anybotics, ClearPath, Robotics, and Open Robotics, condemning the actions. It notes, we believe that adding weapons to robots that are remotely or autonomously operated, widely available to the public, and capable of navigating to previously inaccessible locations where people live and work, raises new risk of harm and serious ethical issues. Okay? All right, and Esau, I want to say it was in Chicago. They designed this AI, to help track trip criminals. All right, but the way the AI was programmed, it was specifically targeting, Jake. Jake up in Chicago, man, and that raised ethical concerns, man. All right, and we already know Esau has a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel. He gonna be programming these robots to target you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. That's why it's called Jacob's Trouble. That's why it's called a time like never before. Okay, and you can best believe he's gonna be programming these robots to harm and to target people who believe in the doctrine of the Israelites, man, who believe in the doctrine that we preach. Okay, and so the Lord, what is the Lord going to do in response to this? Okay, He's going to lift up a standard. All right. Now, I'm gonna just skip around in this article because there's some more cool stuff said. It says the letter was believed to have been in part a response to Ghost Robotics' work with the U.S. military. When images of one of its robot dogs showed on Twitter sporting an autonomous rifle. So they had a robot dog that was armed with an autonomous rifle. The Philadelphia firm told TechCrunch that it took an agnostic stance with regard to how the system was employed by its military partners. Okay, all right. So they're arming. They've been arming these robots with weapons before. Okay, right now they're trying to make it look like it's a back and forth. You know how Esau does. Trying to play both sides. Okay, but watch till the next crisis comes. And they just gonna make an excuse for this to be used, man. All right, when society collapses and you see more chaos in the streets, less people want to be part of law enforcement or the military. You can guarantee, you can bet your bottom dollar that this man is going to use fucking robots, man, to help enforce the law, man. Okay. All right, no doubt about it. Okay. Now it says, going down further in the article, it says this week. All right, that was of November. That was of November 2023. Okay. It says, this week. Local police reporting site Mission Local surfaced renewed concern around killer robots, this time in San Francisco. Okay. It says the site notes that a policy proposal being reviewed by the city's board of supervisors. Okay. All right. So this is dealing with the governing body, if you will, of San Francisco. Okay, next week includes language about killer robots. The law enforcement equipment policy. Okay, so it's gonna be part of the equipment of law enforcement. Begins with an inventory of robots currently in San Francisco Police Department's possession. There are 17 in all, and 12 of which are functioning. They're largely designed for bomb detection and disposal, which is to say that none are designed specifically for killing. As of now, okay? As of now, okay? Never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. This nigga right here, he gonna try to paint it out to be benevolent at first. It's for public safety. It's for the safety of the police officers. You know, it's gonna be different false flag events. You know how this. You know how he works. How he be with his bullshit. Okay, we already know where this is going. Okay, all right. He gonna do his thing. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna present it as something good. You know that they need this. We need this for public safety. And all that. You know how he does it. Okay, all right. But eventually they gonna weaponize these things, man. All right, on a mass scale, which they already doing it. Okay, you can best believe they doing these things in the dark, man. Okay, all right, and eventually it's going to be brought out to the forefront. All right, it says the robots listed in this section shall not be utilized outside of training and simulations. Sure, criminal apprehensions. Well, Esau can just make up the definition of a criminal apprehension. He can just make that up. He can just say anybody's a criminal or anybody's a terrorist or anybody's a threat to society. That he can just do that and just bring that out of thin air. Okay, it says critical incidents, exigent circumstances, executing a warrant, or during suspicious device assessments. The policy notes. It then adds, more troublingly, robots will only be used as a deadly force option when the risk or loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent and outweighs any other force option available to the SFPD. So, if they deem that there's a threat, okay, all right, that involves the risk of losing life of members of the public or officers, okay, these robots can be used for deadly force, okay, all right. Once they deem that there's no other option, these robots can be used for deadly force, man. They can be armed to kill. Okay? All right? And we already know Esau gonna come with the false flags and, start lying, saying believers in Yahweh Shem Yahushai did this terroristic act or that terror. We already know you gonna do that. We already know all of that, okay? We letting you know that you're going to do it before you do it, okay? And he's going to bring in, the robots, man. He going to bring in the robots, man, the killer robots, man. Oh, man, this is going to be dope. This is going to be great, okay? All right, hey, the Lord gonna raise up a standard, okay? The Lord's gonna lift up a standard, bro. Brothers gonna be fighting killer robots, bro. This is awesome, okay? This is great, all right? It says effectively, according to the language, the robots can be used to kill in order to potentially save the lives of the officers or the public. All right, so it says, I'll read some more. It says it seems niche enough. in that context, perhaps at the very least, it seems to fall within the legal definition of justified deadly force. Okay, so they gonna write unrighteous decrees and justify their actions to weaponize these robots to target whoever it is that they deem is a threat. A long story short. Okay, so what is the Lord going to do in response to this? When they start bringing out these killer robots to target the men of the Lord, to target believers, what is the Lord going to do in response to that? All right, this is Isaiah 59 and 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Okay? So that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to lift up a standard, man. All right? He's going to pour out his Spirit, okay, upon certain brothers and raise them up with spiritual power, man. The book of Zechariah says, he that is feeble among them shall be as David, man. Okay? All right, now we see more why the Lord said, Michael shall stand up, you know, and the great prince was standing for the children of thy people. Now we see why, because these motherfuckers bringing out killer robots, man. They bringing out the Sentinels, okay? All right? That's what they bringing out, man. They bringing out the drone army from Star Wars. They get ready to bring out the drone army from Star Wars. Pew, pew, pew. That's what they get ready to do, okay? All right, so the Lord's going to rise up against them, okay? Hey, this is beautiful. All right, this is great. All right, now it says in Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8, it says, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And how's the Lord going to do that? Okay, well, let's keep reading. All right, so he's going to defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. All right, well, one way the Lord could do that is sending angels and chariots to keep thee in all thy ways. Okay, they shall bear thee up in thine hands, in their hands, lest at any time thou shouldest dash thy foot against a stone. Okay, the Lord could send angels to protect brothers from things like this, you know, from troops, you know, armies of robots, however you want to say. The Lord is mighty, man. All right, but also it says, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. Okay, so the Lord's going to raise up brothers with miraculous power, the strength that King David was able to have, you know, running through a troop, leaping over a wall, okay, to defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, man. That angelic power, brothers going to be using spiritual power, man, because angels have spiritual power. They can command the elements, fire, lightning, rain, wind. Okay, they are mighty in power. They know how to fight. They strong. They can fly. Okay, so the possibilities are endless, man. Okay. All right, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come up against Jerusalem. All right. And don't doubt, man. Do not doubt the Lord, man. This is Mark chapter 9, verse 23. Okay. This may sound like it's far-fetched. This may sound like it's science fiction, but at one point, killer robots was science fiction. Okay. All right. At one point, killer robots were science fiction, man. Now they actually got this types of stuff, man. Okay. All right. Mark chapter 9, verse 23, it says, and Yahushua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth, man. Okay. All things are possible, man. All right. So they're gonna deploy their weapons, you know, and the Lord's gonna deploy his. The angels, the chariots, okay, and his men, all right, as battle axes and weapons of war, all right. Jeremiah 51 and 20, it says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. Who is that talking about? The remnant of Jacob, man. Okay. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee will I also break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers, man. So the Lord's going to raise up his men with power, man. Okay, to thresh down these nations and their devices. Okay. Let's see. see if I can find that. Micah chapter 4. And this is Micah chapter 4 and 11. It says, "Now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, and let our eyes look upon Zion." Okay, so these Edomites want to destroy us, man. Okay, if we don't submit to their agendas, they want to wipe us out. All right. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as sheaves into the floor. It says, "Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt break in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of hosts." So how is it that a people that were considered sheep unto the slaughter, that were considered a worm, fear not thou worm Jacob, okay, is going to be able to thresh in pieces and break in pieces these nations in this time, man? They got tanks, they got drones, they got fighter jets, they got missile technology, bullets, automatic weaponry, they got killer robots, they got chemical weapons, they got disease warfare. What type of power is the Lord going to have to pour out, okay, in these times for it to be written in the Bible, "Arise and thresh, O daughter in Zion"? Arise and beat niggas down, okay? Beat people down. What type of power is the Lord going to have to pour out for this to be fulfilled? In the times that we living in now, where knowledge has increased, a time like no other time in history, man. It's gonna be that spiritual power you see in X-Men, that spiritual power you be watching on the animes. I see this brothers into animes, man, in the comic books and stuff like that. There's things like that are gonna happen, man. Trust and believe. The Lord's not gonna let some cinematic universe, okay, some mangaka or some comic book artist outdo what he got going on in these last days, man. That's not gonna happen. All right. Because at the end of the day, really, they all read the scriptures and copy what the Lord got going on. Okay? All right? So I'm going to read this last precept. This is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 32. It says, "And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson and of Jephthah, of David also, of Samuel and of the prophets who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of the lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword." Okay, he shall redeem thee from the power of the sword. Right, out of weakness were made strong, and waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Okay, so through faith, man, the Lord's gonna pour out that spiritual power, man, and give His men strength and power, like Scriptures say. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So the Lord's going to pour out that power upon different men that believe, man, to defend Jerusalem. Okay, to wax valiant and fight, man. Okay, out of weakness to be made strong. Okay, so hey, man, just wanted to read that, man. That last precept, man. Again, man. Okay, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Call halayim la Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachakudash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect. Shalom.